Welcome to Math with Mrs. Bibb. Today we're going to review solving systems. Systems of equations is something that you learn in 8th grade here in West Virginia. So in Algebra 1 Honors, I review it because most of my honor students, when they have learned something in another grade, they have learned something in another grade. I'm going to read these steps to you. You should write them down on your paper. You should make sure to check the post in Google Classroom to see what page number this is and label your paper with the correct page number. Okay, so the first thing we're going to review is elimination. So here's the steps for elimination. You're going to choose a variable. You're going to write down, this is step 2, write down the multiples of the coefficients of that variable until you find the one that they have in common, and I'll show you what I mean by that in just a moment. Step 3, multiply each coefficient and constant, I didn't type that, by the number that makes the coefficient the multiple they have in common. I'll say that again. Multiply each coefficient and constant, because this is a constant, this is a constant. So multiply each coefficient and constant by the number that makes that coefficient the multiple they have in common. I'll show you what I mean by that in just a moment. And then step 4, you have to ask yourself, are the coefficients opposites? One positive, one negative. If yes, distribute and add the equations together and solve. If no, then make one of the numbers you are multiplying by negative, distribute, and add the equations together. Then solve. Step 5, substitute your answer to step 4 into one of the original equations to find the other answer. And then your final answer. Your final answer should be written as an ordered pair, x, y, or as a complete sentence if the problem is a word problem. So let's go through these examples. I am going to choose x. So it says choose a variable. I'm going to choose x. 5 and 10. Those are my coefficients. Multiples of 5. 5, 10. Oop, there's the multiple they have in common. I'm going to multiply this by 2 to turn it into 10. I'm going to multiply this by 1 to keep it 10. And then I'm going to ask myself, are the coefficients opposites? Is one of these a positive and one of them a negative? And the answer is no, they're both positive, so I'm going to make my 1 negative. Now I'm going to distribute 2 times 5x, 2 times y, 2 times 9, negative 1 times 10x, negative 1 times 7y, negative 1 times negative 18. I'm going to add them together. 10x and negative 10x cancel out. 2y plus 7y is 9y. Oh, I'm going to go back just for a second. They cancel out or they are eliminated. So that's why this is called elimination. They're eliminated. And then 18 plus 18 is 36. Divide by 9. Y is 4. So I go ahead, even if I'm working a word problem, I go ahead and write my ordered pair so I could go ahead and put 4 where it belongs, just so I can remember. And then step 5 says substitute your answer to step 4, which is this, into one of the original equations. So I'm going to use 5x plus y equals 9. Make sure you put this in place of y. 5x plus 4 equals 9, and solve for x. So this is not a word problem. This is just a regular problem. So my answer is 1, 4. That's the solution to that system. Now, sometimes you get lucky, like this one right here, and it is ready for me to do substitution. The reason why I know, I have 1 and 1. I have the same coefficient, and they are opposites. So I can go ahead and add these together because y will automatically be eliminated. X plus 2x is 3x. Negative y plus 1y is 0. 11 plus 19 is 30. divide by 3, x equals 10. And then to find y, I'm going to use that top equation, x minus y equals 11, x minus, oops, see, I was about to do it. 10 minus y equals 11. Subtract 10, negative y equals 1. Divide by negative 1, y equals negative 1. So the answer to the second one is 10, negative 1. Look, here's another one. Number 3. I do have the same coefficient, and one of them is positive and one of them is negative. So I can go ahead and add these together. Negative 4x plus 4x cancels out. Negative 2y plus 8y is 6y. Negative 12 plus negative 24 is negative 36. Divide by 6. Y is going to equal negative 6. Substitute into one of the original equations, so I'm going to choose the bottom just because it's all it's almost all positive. I'm going to substitute negative 6 in. I'm going to add 48. Is that 24? Yes. And then divide by 4, x equals 6. So 6, negative 6 is the answer to number 3. And then number 4, 7 and 2, 1 and 3. So I don't have the same circumstance I had for problem 2 and problem 3. I have to pick a variable. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and pick 1 and 3, or I can do 7 and 2 just because that's the harder of the two. But you can choose whichever one you want. So I'm going to choose 7, and I'm going to ignore the negative for right now. 7 and 2. 7, 14, 21, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So 14 is the multiple they have in common. Okay, so what am I going to multiply? Ignore again, like I said, that negative. What am I going to multiply 7 by to turn it into 14? 2, 7 times 2 is 14. What am I going to multiply 2 by to turn it into 14? 7. And then, are they opposites? Is one a positive and one a negative? And the answer to that question is no. Sometimes the answer is yes, but the answer to that question is no. So I need to make one of these numbers a negative, and I'll just make the smaller of the two negative. Now I'm going to distribute. Negative 2 times negative 7, positive 14. Negative 2 times positive y, negative 2y. Negative 2 times negative 19, positive 38. 7 times negative 2, negative 14. 7 times 3, 21. 19 times 7, I don't know. 7 times 9 is 63. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 6 is 13. I think that's 133, negative 133. Now I'm going to add them together. 14x and negative 14x cancels out. Negative 2y plus 21y is 19y. And then 133 minus 38. 13 minus 8 is 5. This should become 12. 95, and it'll be negative 95. Divide by 19. I believe that's 5. 5 times 9 is 45. Yes. So y equals negative 5. Oh, you couldn't see that over there. I'm so sorry. Move that over a little bit. Okay, so y equals negative 5. And then I'm going to substitute. I'm going to use the bottom one. I think it's got smaller numbers. Negative 2x plus 3y equals negative 19. Substitute negative 5 in for y. Negative 2x minus 15 equals negative 19. Add 15. Negative 2x equals negative 4. Divide by negative 2x is positive 2. So positive 2, negative 5. And that's how you solve a system using elimination. I'll put substitution in the next video.